I always thought my husband was strong, the kind of man who could handle anything. But when he started crying during an argument in front of all our friends, I felt nothing but embarrassment. I laughed, I mocked him, and I thought he'd get over it. But I never expected him to react the way he did. I didn't know that moment would cost me everything. I never thought I'd be telling this story, but here I am trying to make sense of everything. My name is Valerie, I'm 32, and up until recently, I had what most people would call the perfect marriage. At least, that's what it looked like from the outside. I manage a small but stylish boutique in downtown Ann Arbor. Before that, I was a dance instructor, a job that shaped my idea of confidence and strength. I was always drawn to strong, self-assured men, the kind who walked into a room and took up space, who didn't second-guess themselves or show too much emotion. That's what I thought a real man should be. Then I met Matthew. He wasn't like the guys I usually dated. He was an airline pilot, confident in his own way but softer, more reserved. I remember the night we met at a friend's housewarming party. While other men were bragging about their jobs or cracking jokes, Matthew actually listened. He had this quiet way of making me feel like I was the only person in the room. And when he talked about his late father, his voice cracked. He even teared up. Back then I thought it was sweet. Different but sweet. A man comfortable with his emotions, how refreshing, right? Things moved fast. Within 6 months, we were engaged. Our wedding was a dream, white roses, candlelit vows, the kind of day little girls fantasize about. But even then, there was a moment that made me pause. When Matthew started crying during his vows, not just misty-eyed but full-on sobbing. My dad had to pat his back, whisper something to calm him down. At the time, I brushed it off as a man deeply in love. Our first year of marriage felt like a Hallmark movie. Matthew was attentive, romantic, always checking in about my feelings. He left sweet notes around the house before his flights, planned weekend getaways, posted sentimental captions on social media about how much he adored me. Everyone told me I was lucky. But soon, little things started bothering me. The way he teared up over small disagreements. How he got emotional watching random movies, even ones that weren't sad. It wasn't just sensitivity, it was weakness. And weakness in a man was something I never knew how to handle. I ignored it, until I couldn't anymore. At first, I told myself I was overreacting. So what if Matthew was more emotional than the men I'd dated before? Maybe I was just being too critical. But over time, I started noticing things, little moments that made me feel uncomfortable. Like how he would cry during movies that weren't even sad. I mean, sure, tearing up at a heartfelt scene is one thing, but I once caught him wiping his eyes during a car commercial. A*** car commercial. Or how he'd get emotional over the smallest disagreements. If I casually mentioned that he forgot to take out the trash, his face would fall like I just told him I was leaving him. One time, he actually teared up because he thought he had hurt my feelings when he suggested I should cut back on my spending. I remember staring at him, completely baffled. Who does that? Then there was the night we were watching a documentary about climate change. Out of nowhere, he starts crying about how the polar bears are suffering. The polar bears. I sat there thinking about my ex, Ryan, a guy who did MMA and once got punched so hard he dislocated his jaw. He didn't shed a tear. Meanwhile, my husband was getting emotional over wildlife footage. That was the first time I felt something I couldn't quite name. Embarrassment maybe. Disappointment. At first, I tried to be patient. I didn't want to be the bad guy, so I made little jokes, playful ones. When he'd get teary-eyed, I'd smirk and say, "Oh no, do we need to get you a tissue, sweetie?" in a light-hearted voice. He usually laughed it off. But sometimes he didn't. Sometimes he'd give me this look ***, this hurt, disappointed look that made me feel like I was the villain. And the worst part, no one else seemed to see it the way I did. In fact, they acted like his sensitivity was some kind of virtue. My friends' wives constantly gushed about how evolved and emotionally intelligent he was. Jessica, my best friend, actually told me I was lucky to have a husband who could express himself. Meanwhile, I was sitting there wondering why I married a man who cried more than I did. The moment I knew this was a real problem was at a dinner party at Brad and Jessica's place. Everyone was sharing work stories, stressful deadlines, annoying bosses, normal stuff. Then Matthew starts talking about how emotionally exhausting it is to be away from home all the time. How it hurts to miss out on important moments. Brad, who works in construction management, actual stress, just sat there looking uncomfortable. The other guys shifted in their seats, awkwardly glancing at their drinks. But the wives, oh, they leaned in, nodding sympathetically, completely eating it up. I could feel the second-hand embarrassment creeping up my spine. After the party, I tried to talk to Matthew about it. I told him he should be more aware of how he presents himself in social situations. That maybe he didn't need to pour his heart out over every little thing. He looked hurt, of course, but he nodded and said he understood. I thought that would be the end of it. But then came the neighborhood barbecue, and that's when I really started to see how bad things had gotten. We were sitting outside, drinks in hand, chatting with friends when someone brought up having kids. I told Matthew again that I wasn't ready yet. I wanted to focus on my career. Instead of just accepting that like a normal person, he started getting emotional. Right there. In front of everyone. His voice cracked as he talked about how he wasn't getting any younger. How his father never got to meet his grandkids. I wanted to die from embarrassment. Brad actually got up and walked away. That night, I finally snapped. I told Matthew that crying over everything wasn't normal. That it was manipulative to tear up whenever he didn't get his way. He looked at me with those sad eyes again, like I had just kicked a puppy, and quietly said, I was just being honest about how I feel. And that's when I realized this wasn't going to change. And neither was he. At first, I thought I could ignore it. If I just pretended it didn't bother me, maybe it would go away. Maybe he'd toughen up over time. But the more I tried to overlook it, the more it consumed me. It wasn't just about the crying anymore. It was about what his sensitivity said about him, about us. I started dreading social events where he'd be present. What if he cried again? What if he made everyone uncomfortable? What if I had to do damage control, again? The worst part was that our friends were starting to notice. They didn't say anything directly, of course. But the little things, the way the guys would avoid sitting next to Matthew, how the room would get tense whenever he started talking about his feelings, I could see it. And the worst part, the women loved him for it. Jessica once pulled me aside and told me, you don't know how lucky you are. Brad hasn't shared a real feeling in years. Lucky, was she serious? But it wasn't just Jessica. Every time Matthew got emotional, there was always some woman ready to comfort him, to reassure him, to tell him how wonderful and in touch with his emotions he was. And that's when I started noticing her. Claire. Tom's wife. She was always too interested whenever Matthew spoke, always leaning in, nodding like she actually cared. And when Matthew talked about how hard it was to be away from home, she touched his arm, just a small, subtle touch, but I saw it, and worse, so did he. I didn't say anything at first. I wanted to believe I was imagining it, but then it started happening more often. Whenever we were at get-togethers, I'd catch her looking at him, smiling a little too much at his stories. If Matthew made a joke, she laughed a little louder than necessary. And whenever he got emotional, oh, she was right there, ready to validate every word. At first, I told myself Matthew wouldn't do anything. He was too sensitive, too devoted to me. But the more I pulled away, the closer they seemed to get. And then, one night, I saw something that made my stomach drop. We were at another dinner party, this time at Tom and Claire's house. I was in the kitchen, refilling my wine when I heard their voices. Matthew and Claire. I peeked around the corner, they were standing close, too close. Claire tilted her head, looking up at him with those soft, sympathetic eyes. You deserve to be appreciated, Matthew, she murmured. I watched as Matthew exhaled sharply, running a hand through his hair. I don't know if she even likes me anymore, he admitted. My chest tightened. Claire touched his arm again. Her voice was soft, gentle. You're a good man, Matthew. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise. I gripped the counter, my nails digging into the wood. Was he seriously confiding in her about our marriage? I knew I should have marched in there, confronted them both. But I didn't. Instead, I stood frozen, watching as my husband, my overly emotional, too sensitive husband, sought comfort from another woman. And the worst part. He looked relieved. Like he had finally found someone who understood him. That night when we got home, I didn't say anything. I couldn't. I just climbed into bed, staring at the ceiling while Matthew slept soundly beside me. For the first time in our marriage, I wondered if I was losing him. But the real question was did I even care? I should have seen it coming. Looking back, all the signs were there. The distance, the quiet resentment, the way he started pulling away from me emotionally while getting closer to someone else. But I was too caught up in my own frustration to realize what was really happening. And then came the dinner party, the night everything fell apart. I wanted everything to be perfect. I spent all day preparing, set the table just right, picked out the best wine, even made my famous rosemary chicken. I told myself that if I could just control the night, control the way Matthew acted, then maybe we could go back to how things used to be. Matthew had just gotten home from a 3-day flight rotation, and something about him seemed off. He was distant but calm, too calm, like he was really there, but I brushed it off. I needed him to hold it together tonight. Our closest friends were there, Jessica and Brad, Tom and Claire, plus another couple from the neighborhood. Everything was fine at first. People were laughing, drinking, enjoying themselves. Then Tom, of all people, asked Matthew about his last flight. And that's when things went sideways. Matthew started talking about a storm they had flown through, how the turbulence was so bad they had to make an emergency landing. But instead of telling it like a pilot, he told it like a man giving a therapy confession. His voice shook, his eyes welled up. I just kept thinking, what if I let them down? What if I couldn't land safely? All those people trusted me with their lives. And just like that, I felt it again. That creeping second-hand embarrassment. That sickening realization that he was doing it again, getting emotional, making everything about his feelings. I glanced around the table. The guys shifted in their seats, awkwardly clearing their throats. The women, of course, leaned in like they were watching some heartfelt movie moment. And suddenly, something inside me snapped. Before I could stop myself, I stood up and mocked him. I wiped at my eyes in an exaggerated motion, my voice high-pitched and whiny. Oh no, the clouds were so scary, I was just so emotional about doing my job. Silence. Complete, absolute silence. I expected people to laugh, to get it, to understand I was just trying to lighten the mood, but no one did. Instead, Matthew just stopped. He stared at me, not with hurt, not with anger, with something worse, like he was finally seeing me for the first time. And then Brad, the man I always pointed to as an example of a real man, looked me dead in the eye and said, "What the hell is wrong with you, Valerie?" My stomach dropped. Jessica reached across the table and put a hand on Matthew's arm. Claire started saying something about how brave he was for talking about it. Everyone was suddenly against me. And Matthew. He didn't say a word. He just stood up, placed his napkin down, and walked away. No tears, no emotion, just a quiet, dignified exit that somehow made me look even worse. I tried to laugh it off, made some joke about him being too sensitive, but nobody laughed. Nobody even looked at me. Jessica followed me into the kitchen while I was getting dessert. She cornered me, her face tight with disappointment. "You were cruel," she said. Cruel. I tried to explain that I was just trying to help him toughen up. That being so emotional all the time wasn't normal. But she just shook her head. The only embarrassing person here tonight was you. And then she walked out. The dinner party ended early. Nobody stayed for the dessert I had spent hours making. They all left quickly, whispering things to Matthew, patting his shoulder like he was some asterisk victim. And when I went upstairs to talk to him that night, he had locked the bedroom door. I knocked. Matthew, you're overreacting. No answer. I ended up sleeping in the guest room, telling myself that by morning, everything would be fine. He would get over it, just like always. But this time was different. Because by the next morning, everything I knew was about to fall apart. I woke up the next morning expecting Matthew to sulk for a while, maybe give me the silent treatment before eventually getting over it, like he always did. But this time he wasn't sulking. I walked into the kitchen, still groggy from the night before, and found Matthew already dressed, sipping coffee like nothing had happened. Except, everything felt different. He was too calm, too composed. Usually, after one of our fights, he'd still be emotional, looking for reassurance, waiting for me to say something that would smooth things over. But today, he didn't even look at me. Morning, I said cautiously, waiting for him to sigh dramatically, maybe tear up and tell me how much I'd hurt him. Instead, he simply said, good morning. No emotion, no frustration, nothing. I tried to act normal, pouring myself some coffee, waiting for him to say something else. But he just picked up his phone, scrolling through his messages, acting like I wasn't even there. That's when I noticed his suitcase by the door. My stomach clenched. Are you going somewhere? Matthew finally looked up. I'll be staying at Rachel's for a while. Rachel, his sister. His very opinionated, very protective sister. I let out a small, nervous laugh. Oh, come on, you're leaving over a little joke. His expression didn't change. I don't think it was a joke. I stared at him. Matthew, this is ridiculous. You're acting like I did something horrible. He took a slow sip of his coffee. I need space. A space. Matthew had never asked for space before. He was the kind of guy who wanted to talk everything out, to process emotions for hours. But now he was acting like some cold, calculated stranger. And it scared me. I tried to grab his arm, make him look at me. Matthew, come on, don't do this. He gently pulled away. I'll call you when I'm ready to talk. And then, just like that, he grabbed his bag, walked out the door, and drove away. No tears, no emotion, no second glance. For the first time in our marriage, I realized something terrifying. I had pushed him too far. At first, I told myself he just needed a couple of days, maybe a week, but as time passed, things only got worse. Jessica wouldn't return my calls, neither would Brad, and Claire, she practically acted like I didn't exist. Then the messages started. At first, just a few texts from mutual friends. Hey, I heard about what happened. Are you okay? Then less friendly ones. I can't believe you treated him like that. That was straight up emotional abuse. Wait, abuse. Was that what people were saying now? That I was some kind of abuser because I made fun of my husband once? I tried to vent about it on social media. I posted a simple, innocent reflection. Sometimes people grow apart, and that's okay. Not every marriage is meant to last forever. And that's when Matthew's sister decided to publicly respond. She posted this long emotional rant about witnessing abuse firsthand and how she was proud of her brother for breaking free. People in the comments tore me apart. Old friends, mutual friends, even my own sister. Someone even dug up an old Christmas party video of me teasing Matthew for crying during a toast to his late father. Completely out of context, of course, but suddenly, everyone was acting like I was this heartless, cruel monster. And Matthew. Oh, he was their hero. His social media was flooded with support. You're so brave. It's okay for men to cry. We need more husbands like you. Jessica, my best friend even commented, "Proud of you for standing up for yourself." I wanted to scream. What was happening? How had I become the villain in all of this? But the worst part, Matthew wasn't even trying to defend me. In fact, he was doing something much worse. He was building a case. One night, I overheard him talking in his home office. He thought I was asleep, but I crept down the hallway and listened at the door. His voice was calm, measured. "I've documented everything. The patterns of behavior, the public humiliation, I have witness statements." My blood ran cold. This wasn't just a break. This was a setup. He had been planning this. Every little joke, every time I rolled my eyes, every moment I dismissed his emotions, he had been documenting it all. Like I was some villain he needed to build a case against. I wanted to burst in scream at him for betraying me, for making me seem like some kind of abusive wife. But I didn't. Instead, I stood there in the dark, listening as my husband, the man who once cried at dog food commercials, calmly laid out the plan to destroy me. And for the first time, I was afraid. It's been 2 months since that night. 2 months since Matthew walked out of our home, leaving behind nothing but his perfectly documented case against me. 2 months since I became the woman everyone whispers about, the wife who mocked her husband for crying. 2 months since my world fell apart. At first, I fought it. I tried to defend myself. I tried to explain to people that I wasn't a monster, that I was just trying to help Matthew be stronger, more resilient. But no one wanted to hear my side. Jessica cut me off completely. She even uninvited me from her wedding, saying, "I can't have someone who thinks emotional abuse is funny standing next to me on my big day." The boutique started losing business. Our regulars, women who used to love my style and personality, stopped coming in. Even my own sister told me she was disappointed in me. I tried to move on, to act like none of this bothered me, but then the divorce papers arrived. Neatly prepared, professionally written, and with them, a packet. A full detailed account of my so-called emotional abuse. Pages of quotes, dates, witness statements, and recordings. Recordings. He had been building this case for months. It wasn't just about one dinner party. It wasn't just about one joke. Matthew had spent half a year quietly preparing to destroy me. And the worst part, it worked. He walked away as the victim. The brave man who stood up to his emotionally abusive wife. I walked away as the villain. A cautionary tale. And honestly, I still don't think I did anything wrong. Yes, maybe I could have been nicer. Maybe I could have been more patient. But since when is it a crime to want your husband to be strong? Since when is it wrong to expect a man to handle his emotions like an adult? But apparently, in today's world, being too emotional makes you a hero, and calling it out makes you a monster. So here I am, sitting in my half-empty apartment, packing up my life, wondering how the hell it all went so wrong. And the worst part, I saw Matthew last week. At the grocery store. He was with another woman, probably from his support group or whatever. And he was laughing. Not crying, laughing. After all those years of me trying to toughen him up, all it took for him to stop crying was to leave me. Make it make sense. What do you think? Was I really the villain, or was Matthew just too sensitive? Let me know in the comments. And if you've ever been in a situation like this, where your words were taken the wrong way, share your story below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more shocking real-life stories. Trust me, you won't believe what's coming next.